Resolution 090864, adopting the Transit Investment Plan. Mr. General Manager.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. At one level, I think one can see the Transit Investment Plan, this fairly thick document that you all have, and kind of ask, well, what does that really do? What does it affect? How does it? What's important about it? And I do want to be able to stress, I think it is a very important document because what it really does is we know that at TriMet, although we provide the service side of the transit equation, the total transit experience requires much more, and to be able to attract people to be able to ride transit requires much more than just that transit service. You have to have a safe place where you can stand waiting for the bus or the MAX platform to be able to wait. You need to be able to get to that location safely. That means you have to have sidewalks, or at least a good path. You need to have safe crossings of streets. There needs to be a series of other things, most of which we, TriMet, do not have authority over. Local jurisdictions do. So the Transit Investment Plan is really intended to be able to put forward a blueprint of where and how we're going to make additional transit investments. Certainly in this economy, not much is being made. In fact, quite the contrary, we're actually reducing some of our services, much to our dislike, and yet inevitable because of the worst economic conditions in 80 years. But having said that, we want to be able to plan for the future. The Transit Investment Plan provides that. It also provides for other jurisdictions, whether it be county jurisdictions or city jurisdictions, to be able to plan how can they use their investments to leverage our investments. We recognize that line 57 in Washington County coming into Multnomah County is a very good example of where partnerships are able to ensure that 1 + 1 equals more than 2. That is, with Washington County, the City of Beaverton, the City of Hillsborough, the Oregon Department of Transportation, and TriMet, we were able to make a number of improvements along the TV highway, such as extending sidewalks, making for better, safer crossings of streets, and a series of other things that encourage transit use on that alignment. This plan really gives the blueprint for other jurisdictions to likewise make those leverage investments that we've all gained by having put together. I would highlight some of the specific elements within the plan that are there. First is that it is, re-stress for you, it's a 5-year plan. That really means it's kind of a midterm. It gets updated annually. It talks about how and where we're going to make investments. It really gives, as I said earlier, a blueprint for how local jurisdictions can, by making some of their own investments, move forward with their own investments to leverage ours. It also talks about other priorities, such as providing transit tracker information, how to be able to make that work even more effectively. Currently, 1.4 million calls a month coming to Transit Tracker, and it talks about that. Our trip planner, which really assists people in making trips so they can put into on our online trip planner, they can put in where they're coming from, where they're going to. It gives both walking directions as well as transit use directions, and becomes very, very important. One of the things that is kind of a nice add has been Google Maps for transit planning, and that's been that partnership we've had with Google. It's also that we've opened up our data to anybody, and that's allowed for people to develop their own applications using our transit data. One of the ones, we have now over 30 individual applications for your handheld device. One of the ones that I thought was particularly interesting, somebody created what's called iNav, and that is so that if you're on a transit, on a bus or a train, and and you're getting close to your station but have fallen asleep, it actually sends off an alarm and wakes you up so you'll get off at your right spot. But it's that and over 30 other applications have been developed by citizens provided to us. We make sure we don't censor them in any way. We just make sure that they can actually be supported and then make them available to others. And I said INAP is kind of one of the fun ones that's been put up. Overall, we are looking at additional investments as the economy comes back. I indicated earlier during the discussion of the previous ordinance that the area around frequent service lines and restoring those are ones that are some of our highest priority, but others are outlined here. Lastly, let me say again, in this weak economy and the fact we don't have investment dollars, it at one level seems a little less important. Why do you have this transit investment plan? But because it's updated annually, it's a chance to be able to plan for the future with all of our other jurisdictions. Very, very important document. Be happy to answer any questions.